once again, everyone. Original Blood Ice back once more. This time we're gonna flip the page. We did a video on Xbox One, so this one, while it does slightly relate to Xbox One, we're also throwing the PS4 into it, and the topic is Watch Dogs. Now, this article was from a little while ago, where Sony had posted saying Watch Dogs is 1080p, 60 frames per second on the PS4. Now, and it was apparently they had supposedly heard it from, I don't remember who it was, from Sony, or from Ubisoft. Does it say here? I don't know, someone at Ubisoft. Anyway, and then Sony had changed their mind. They had taken it down from their listings where it was 1080p and 60 frames per second. Because now, if I show you this other bit that just came out today, confirmed by Ubisoft, Watch Dogs on the PS4 is 900p, 720 or 792p on Xbox One. That seems to be its high point, isn't it? A 792p. Both will be 30 frames per second. Oh my goodness. While I personally don't really care either way, I have seen so many people bitching about this, saying, I thought these were supposed to be next-gen systems, what the fuck? And I've seen people saying, well, good thing I'm getting on PC, PC Master Race, you know, PC is the best, so forth and so on. Now, this makes me wonder about the Wii U version. What will it probably be? Honestly, I'm going to guess 720p, 30 frames per second. Best case scenario, 720p, 60 frames per second. But it's just funny that people are whining about 900p. If you are a console gamer, is 900p higher than 720p? Yes. Yes, it is. Now, I get it. You people want 1080p, which will come at some point. That's just obvious. Each system will get there at its own pace. Well, Xbox One, maybe. Little unsure on that one, to be brutally honest. I don't even know if Halo 5 will be 1080p, 60 frames per second. But either way, 900p for the PS4. So to the people who claim, oh, the PS4 is going to have 1080p, 60 frames per second, Watch Dogs, yeah. And this is a bit of a blow because it's one of the biggest titles of this year. Even though I'm not getting it and I don't have too much interest in it, this is one of the most interested or hyped up PS4, well, multi-plat games, I should say, especially for the PS4. Since everyone is clamoring, oh, it's going to be the best on the PS4. Now, you know, console-wise, yeah, 900p is the best you're going to get. But it's just so entertaining watching people freak out and scream and throw a temper tantrum about, what would that be, 380p less than what they wanted. Honestly, I bet the first PS4 game that's going to, you know, get Sony to the point where they want 1080p 60 frames is going to be Uncharted 4, I bet you that. And if for some reason that's not 1080p 60 frames per second, then I don't know. All I have to say is, nudge nudge, look at the Wii U. With Mario Kart 8, 1080p 60 frames per second. And I've heard people try and use the stupid line on me saying, it's a kart racer, it's a cartoony game, blah blah blah, makes it easier to get 1080p. That is so fucking false. Have you seen the amount of polygons it uses? It is still graphic intensive and power intensive. People are damage controlling beyond belief, but whatever. What else is new? I'll have to tell it like it is. Look at X, that's confirmed. Bayonetta 2 was confirmed. Smash Bros was confirmed. All 1080p, 60 frames per second. You're telling me just because the Wii U can do 1080p, it's like, the Wii U's weak, remember? The Wii U can't get 1080p, 60 frames per second, and then it turns out it can, and then therefore you're all, well, it's not a realistic game, so it's easier to get it on there, so it's no big deal. Just shut up. Just shut up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So my point is, though, it is a bit of a blow for the PS4. Not getting a 1080p version of Watch Dogs. Don't really care. I'm not getting the game. But that's all I really needed to say on this subject. Just wanted to share this little blip. And it was funny how Sony jumped the gun and said, yep, it's 1080p, 60 frames per second, ha ha ha. You know, and winking at you and waving at you. And then you get fooled, and turns out they didn't know what they were talking about, and they should have kept their mouth shut until Ubisoft opened their mouth and said themselves. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. Because I'm trying to think now, what is a 1080p 60 frame per second game on the PS4? Killzone Shadowfall is 720p and 30 frames per second for the single player, but 60 frames per second for the multiplayer, which makes sense because, you know, the single player is a huge, much more stuff to load thing. Much more open world, or, well, not open world, you know what I mean, it's much more to load. But, yeah, that's all I gotta say, really. Just wanted to reveal that Watch Dogs, to those people who have an Xbox One or a PS4 and think, oh, it's gonna be 1080p 60 frames. No, it's not. PC it will be. Now, I could see this maybe slightly helping the Wii U sales a bit. I've seen actually a few people comment saying, well, I'm gonna wait for the Wii U version now. Now, I don't know exactly why, they didn't really explain that, but I'm guessing they think maybe it'll be a little bit better on the Wii U. I mean, with the gamepad, if it is actually going to get used properly, then that is a reason to wait, I guess. But it's still going to sell poorly. Even if, can you imagine, even if the Wii U version was 1080p 60 frames per second, it will still sell poorly. Why? Because it came out so fucking long after the other versions. Not to mention the whole, most people don't buy third-party games on a Nintendo console. Then Ubisoft would complain, saying, oh, it sold poorly, and we even made it the best version, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm not saying that's going to happen, because it's not. I don't see Ubisoft as one of the third parties to actually reach the maximum potential in a game. So yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say. I'm Original Blood Ace. Stay tuned, more videos coming soon. Got one more to do.
The cult of personality.